Welcome to the Daily MBA, where business wisdom is served fresh and fast, straight from one of the top MBA programs in the world. I'll give you summaries of my lectures and readings, as well as the most important insights gained from an MBA, so you can apply all of this knowledge in every business. Let's get started. Today, I have the honor to interview Jesse Abrams, CEO and founder of Homewise. Jesse is revolutionizing the home ownership industry, and he stands out as a business leader, digital marketer, and advertiser that has a passion for driving business growth and challenging the status quo. Before launching Homewise, Jesse served as a partner and VP of Client Services and Digital at Beyond Marketing Group, including the acquired Engagement Labs. Prior to that role, Jesse spent 4 years at General Mills, where he built and led the digital marketing department. Jesse, we are happy to have you and welcome to FinHub.
Thanks so much for having me.
Before we start, I want you to tell us a little bit more about Homewise so all of our listeners can better get to know it.
Yeah, so at Homewise, we saw a major problem in the market that the home ownership experience really sucked. Mortgages were confusing, finding a realtor was difficult, and just the whole end-to-end process was really hard. So we started at Homewise to simplify the process and save consumers time, confusion, and a lot of money in the process by doing it. It starts off with a simple 5-minute application focused on the mortgage, and that could be for a pre-approval, a purchase, a refinance, or a switch. And then we use our technology to shop through the market to find clients their best mortgage options from over 30 banks and lenders, and that really represents thousands of options. We then present those options to the client, they can choose what's best for them, and they're then set up with a personal advisor from our team to guide them every step of the way through the process to help them get that mortgage that will have hopefully the best rate and best features for them, and make it as fast and easy as possible. We also have a real estate side to our business as well, which includes a full real estate listing site. So we could take that customer who maybe signed up for a pre-approval, show them homes of interest, connect them with a realtor, and take them all the way through to purchase. And on the back end, we have life insurance, property insurance, and real estate law integrations to really be an end-to-end process, all under one roof. So our goal at our company is to make full home ownership process really simple, and overall make it what it should be, a lot of fun.
That's amazing. And when I first heard about Homewise, I was actually very intrigued because I'm living in Canada right now, but I'm an immigrant and I moved into Toronto in August. So I was struggling a lot with house finding and all of this credit history things. So I did experience, let's say firsthand, some of the issues that you're trying to address with Homewise. So I wanted to ask you as well, can you share a bit of the inspiration behind founding Homewise? Did you ever have any issues with mortgages or housing or any other insurance thing?
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear your story as a starting point to this, because in Canada, there's so many first-time home buyers here, be it the 32-year-old looking to buy their first home that was born in Canada, or the huge amount of new immigrants that we have come into our country every year who have that same dream of home ownership. And unfortunately, it's an exceptionally confusing process. And I actually went through that myself. At my old company, one of our biggest clients is one of Canada's largest banks. Working with them on their first-time home buyer business for 2 years, learned a ton about how out of touch they were with the process, how slow moving they were, just a total lack of technology. So really saw the big opportunity there. And then when I bought my own first home, I used a classic mortgage broker, had multiple phone calls, in-person meetings. I actually got a 4-page Microsoft Word document sent to me to fill out, print, scan, and send back. So it was just a classic, there's got to be a better way situation. I felt so lost throughout the process. Even though I'm a business graduate and I thought I had all the knowledge base, I just really saw the big opportunity there. And our team saw the big opportunity there. And that's where the idea for Homewise originally came, was the process for homeownership is just so difficult, and we want to make it much easier for everyone, new Canadians, landed Canadians, and everyone else in between.
I totally agree. It's very difficult. And so I also wanted to ask you, because I'm very curious, how do you manage to make this process more smooth and more affordable for all of these first-time home buyers?
So there's a couple different ways to get a mortgage in Canada. You could go directly to a bank, which is unfortunately what most Canadians do, because they go to where their mom and dad went. Oh, my parents are with X and Y bank, so I went there for my mortgage. that process is probably the worst you could do, because I always joke with people, it'd be like going to a shoe store that only had one pair of shoes on the wall, but the pair of shoes cost $700,000. Not exactly the best decision, especially when we comparison shop for everything. We should be doing the same thing for mortgages. So the other option people do is a mortgage broker who can do that comparison shopping for you. The biggest difference with a classic mortgage broker in a business like us is a classic mortgage broker is an individual person. They're dealing with a lot of paperwork and sticky notes. And unfortunately, because we're people, it's not that easy to manage a ton of different lender options. So you're really confined to a few lender options. With us, we use technology in the process, allowing someone to apply online in minutes rather than speaking to someone for an hour or meeting them in person. Then our technology actually searches through the market for consumers. And because we are dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars in mortgages on our end, we also get really low rates from our lenders because of that. So we're able to offer clients a really fast online process, match them with those low rates, and then connect them with our team to make the process really smooth and seamless. And a process that people are looking for, which is a digital experience where they can upload their documents online and really simplify the experience. So that's how we differentiate ourselves, is really bringing it online, getting clients great products. And then on the other end is the fact that we have these other services involved, like real estate, insurance, and law, to really bring everything under one umbrella to make clients feel like this is not a confusing process. And I don't feel like I have 15 people's hands in my pocket. I'm actually saving a lot of time and money in the process when working with Homewise.
Definitely. That's very impressive. And congratulations, Jesse, on listening to all of this that you're offering. I'm very impressed. And now that I already know that mostly you're using technology to leverage, I want to go back to your shoe example because I really like that one. Because I believe traditional mortgages would be only that pair of shoes, but also because many banks are trying to take a possibility against those possible challenges or risks, especially for those newcomers to Canada. So how do you think Homewise can diverge from this traditional credit base while also not solely relying in other credit history or mortgage approvals that may be the ones that are helping all of the banks against these risks?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. We don't loan the money ourselves, so we're not making the decision, hey, you're able to get that because we're going to allow you to do it. However, because we work with so many different lenders, they all have different adjudication standards. So some of them are really tight. You need to be best credit. You have to be in Canada for 10 years, all these different standards. Well, others have lighter standards that are a lot easier for approvals. So that's a really important thing, especially for new to Canada or self-employed Canadians or someone who might just have not got a credit card until they're 28 years old and had not built their credit history, is that a company like us could actually find solutions for clients, as there are different lenders out there that meet the qualifications that they're looking for. And I can't tell you how many times we've had customers come to us saying, I got turned down by my bank, then I went to a different bank and they turned me down as well. And we say, well, have you thought about this option as an example? And the rate might be the same, the rate might be better, the rate might be a little bit higher, it might be substantially higher. But a lot of people are just looking for strict approval in certain situations. And the wealth of options we have by searching multiple lenders allows us to find ways to get those approvals for customers to help them actualize their dreams of home ownership.
And how did you manage to get this network of lenders to collaborate with you?
So a lot of it is the nature of our business as a brokerage in the back end. We created those relationships when we did that. A lot of it's also team. One of the most important things for any new business, current business, growing business, old business is people. And we've brought on great people to our team who have a lot of experience in working with these lenders. And they were great in creating these relationships and cultivating those relationships to where they are today. Some of these lenders 4 years ago, when we first started working with us, didn't really have too much excitement to work with us. Now we're done 30, 40, 50, 60, $70 million of $70 million of loans with these lenders. And they're giving us much lower rates than others in the market might be getting, and a lot of opportunities as well. So it's a lot of just creating relationships, networking, and bringing on great people who have those relationships as well. Interesting.
And talking about great people that you're bringing, I'm going to go back to one of the first elements that you mentioned, and it was that after all of the technology you leveraged, you also give human support and advisory to all the people that are recurring to Homewise. So how do you manage to balance out this people approach versus the technology approach? And what things should we consider when we're giving human support?
To bring back the old shoe example, I still remember buying my first pair of shoes online. It was like probably 23 years ago at this point. Just thinking about how old I would have been at the time. And it was a nerve-wracking experience to buy that first pair of shoes online because I'd never really bought anything online at that point. This is probably back in like 2003. So in that situation, I was scared. And that was a shoe purchase, probably a $70 pair of shoes. A lot of people have asked me, Jesse, when are you going to make HomeWise a fully digital online mortgage experience? And I say, well, I don't know, because no one's really doing that worldwide. And there's some companies who try to be so digital, and we're fairly digital. But the whole part of the process is that if people are nervous to buy shoes online or nervous to buy air flights online, and they're getting more and more comfortable, well, that's something that we could look to do in the future. But right now, the comfort level for most people is start your application online and then get connected with a human. And that's what we've really tried to bring here is we try to cut down the admin work, the boring stuff, that long phone call, the answering all those different questions, and bring that part online, as well as things like document upload, helping customers guide their journey, quick updates on their progress and their status, all those different key touch points along the mortgage, while adding a human advisor in that's dedicated to each of our customers who come through our door to be there for the client at each step, answering their questions, assuaging any fears that they might have, and overall providing the experience for them that they'd be hoping for in such a big financial expenditure on themselves. So our goal is really, how do we pair up that technology with the human, which allows us to drive scalability over time while providing the experience that customers are looking for.
And have you found that this is a difference against other possible competitors, or is it something that everyone else is doing in the market?
You know, banks are fairly human-based. If you're working at a bank, you're dealing with phone calls, you're meeting them in person, and it's very classic. And it's going to take you a lot of time. We actually had a member of our tech team. I remember when we first started the business, he went to his bank. They said, this is not the day to come in and talk to your mortgage. He had to come back another day, and each time he biked his bike over there. So unfortunately, our large financial institutions in Canada are not doing a great job when it comes to technology. I'm so hopeful that they will be getting there soon, because that's where the market needs to go. Classic mortgage brokers, they're fairly human as well. They like to create the relationship and have phone calls and maybe meet with people in person, but they are driving more online with what COVID and that time frame has done. And then there's some digital players in the market. And while the digital world in mortgage is still fairly new, we're starting to see more and more of them come onto the scene, and it's great for the market. And those players have definitely found a way to have that marriage between technology and mortgage advisors or humans along the way. And we've seen that not just in Canada, but the US, internationally, places like the UK. And that's what we see as being the largest success factor driver, is really how to find that perfect marriage between technology and humans to make sure that you're making the process as fast and efficient as possible, but also adding humans in to make it as effective as possible, and having that human insight that you could learn from to improve your product over time as well.
Definitely. And I think also, to add up to that, where you were saying, just having the trust that someone is providing that advisory to you and getting with you along the way is probably one of the best things that you can offer. And so now that we're looking at all of this human part, I'm admiring HomeWise a lot, but I want to switch to the technology part, because as all of our listeners know, probably every time we bring technology, we have some issues revolving around data or privacy. So I want to ask you, given the sensitive nature of financial information, how do you prioritize and ensure the security and the privacy of the user data that you have?
Yeah, so I'll answer that question in two areas, because that's probably one of the most important things when you're dealing with a fintech, is that you establish trust. And you mentioned this a couple of seconds ago, that trust is such a key factor. When we first launched our business, there's people who are like, are you real? Is this a scam? What's going on here? So we really have that focus in two ways. One is we're a fully licensed business. We're licensed with Canadian financial boards across the country. We have 9 different licenses. And with these licenses come certain responsibilities, ways that we store data, ways that we intake data. But when it comes to a technology side, my co-founder, Carlos, has years of experience as a chief risk officer at major financial institutions like HSBC, and he's also taken tech companies public. as a chief risk officer. So we implemented a ton of security measures, from encryption to how we store data to how we intake data, to ensure that everything's very secure. Also, our CTO, Madara, is someone who I've worked with now for 14, 15 years. He and I in the past had worked with large financial institutions, building their financial backends as well. So that's something that we take as exceptionally important in the process, because we want to make sure that if we're taking in customers' data and their information, it's exceptionally secure along the way. And it's a process that's really important to think about at the start of your business, but also to consistently work on and build upon as you're growing your business as well.
Interesting. So I see that all of you, the people that are surrounding you, are also experts on this topic. So that brings a lot of trust into the table, as you were mentioning. And now, if we envision the long term, what do you think holds in the future for Homewise? And how do you see the company evolving in the next years?
So we shifted from just being a mortgage business to more of a home ownership platform about 8 to 12 months ago. Our goal is end-to-end home ownership all under one roof. That's our new slogan as a business. And that's something we want to be ubiquitous with in the market, is when you come to Homewise, you're getting your mortgage, your real estate, your life insurance, your property insurance, your real estate law, and post-purchase experiences as well, like home moving and other home services. And we want to get to a point where customers are referring their friends, coming back to us for their first home, their second home, to work with Homewise as a business. The second thing that adds to that, though, is we started off as purely a consumer business, advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google, a lot of paid media in the process. But over the last couple of years, we've really shifted to a B2B business. And the hot term people use is embedded finance. But we really just call it embedding our experience within a partner's experience. And we work with big companies like Brookfield Residential, NerdWallet, Borrowell, and many other companies as well, where our application lives within their website. And what we want to be in the coming years is we want to be working with a ton of these home builders, these tech companies, and really be that mortgage arm of their business to help them add more value to their customers. And of course, continually grow our business the way it's been growing in a very efficient and scalable way. And that's really where we want to see our business in the next 2 to 4 years, is scaling across the country through partnerships and with our end-to-end process with the new technology that we've been building, like the real estate listing site that we recently launched. This provides listings across the country with sold data and information, and that connects customers to the mortgage from there. So real focus on growing the end-to-end process, our partnerships, and our technology along the way.
Interesting. So you would be turning more into a B2B2C, let's say, type of business?
Exactly.
Okay. And so for this, how do you manage to promote Homewise to other people, since it's going through sponsors or through alliances? How are you going to manage to make people trust Homewise and make it the best home ownership company in Canada?
So we've been around now for 5 years, and over that time you get reviews, people write articles, and that's an important thing for your business, is when people Google you, you want them to see good stuff. And we have hundreds of 5-star reviews online. We have a ton of articles written about us. But also, as we build these partnerships come with trust. I mentioned Brookfield as an example. That's a $60-70 billion business that we've partnered with. NerdWallet is a multi-billion-dollar business that we've partnered with. So establishing these partnerships and relationships build that trust and build that awareness for our business as well. And that's something that also snowballs, is the more of these partners that we sign up and work with, the more other companies see us and have reached out to us as well. So all these things sort of come together with us taking advantage of that, as well as having an internal team that's consistently trying to find new opportunities for growth, reaching out to new opportunities, new companies, and new businesses out there that they can leverage our experience to build themselves in a way that they didn't think possible before.
Interesting. So sounds like you will be growing a lot in the next couple of years, Jesse. And just for wrapping up, I want to ask you a more broad question. Which trends do you see coming in the financial industry, or more specifically fintech industry, for the next years?
My most hopeful trend is open banking. As in the mortgage world, open banking would be huge. It would cut out a ton of fraud, because all that information and data would be fully available, so people couldn't forge their tax documents or any information there. It would also give a lot more insights in terms of what affordability is, what are areas where someone could cut out debts or increase their assets to better afford a home. And overall, it would simplify the financial experience on the mortgage side. But that's just thinking in a small area towards our business. Open banking overall, I think, would be an incredible experience for Canadians. I've been with the same bank myself my entire life because my parents have been with that bank their entire lives. And that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. There's great fintechs out there like Wealthsimple and Coho and Borrowell where we can move our assets around to and actually gain a lot of financial well-being because of it. So when I come back to open banking as well, I'm gonna come back to Wealthsimple as an example. Their reason for being early on as a business was we have money sitting in our checking account and it's basically losing money every year because inflation's at 2%, maybe not today, but it generally is at 2%. And if it's sitting in our bank account gaining 0.1% interest, that's not really effective. So Wealthsimple did a great job at helping people understand how an index fund can help them get 4 to 6% a year and actually make money on their money. With open banking, the ability for tech companies to come in and say, hey, Jesse, this is your information that we're looking at. This is how we would leverage your assets, your finances to help you live a more prosperous lifestyle and make your money work better for you. So that's where I'm hopeful for in the coming years when it comes to financial services and fintech is open banking really opening the door to opportunity for helping people make more money and live a better financial life.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Jesse. And in the description, I'll put all of the links to Homewise so everyone can find you and your company and get as excited as I just did with this interview.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.